Hi everyone, welcome back to Pro Podcast. And on Dear Mama today, we are joined by a very special lady. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I am Abigail Awur. Thank you for having me today.
Karibu sana. So before we start, maybe you can tell us how many kids you have.
I am a mom of two, one 3-year-old named Aiden and a 6-month-old named Asha.
Ah, nice. For your firstborn, do you mind telling us about how you gave birth to your firstborn? What was the birth story?
Okay, so my firstborn, Aiden, he just turned 3 in October the 19th. He developed cerebral palsy. He has cerebral palsy. So during his birth, the hospital that I gave birth in, he had some complications. Therefore, I later came to learn that pregnancy, when you're going to labor, there are 2 stages. So there's the first stage and then the active stage. So the first stage can be a bit long. It can go for like up to 4, 3, 5 hours. But when you get into the active stage, you're not supposed to labor for long because the baby has already dropped into the cervix. So they are supposed to assist you. Or if there are complications that develop, they're supposed to tell you maybe if you go for an emergency C-section or something. So from the second stage of labor, I labored for long because by the time I was getting to hospital, I was already 8 centimeters dilated.
So second stage of labor is from what centimeters? From 6 maybe?
Once you get to around 5, 6 centimeters,
You're now in second
they
stage.
can tell you to start pushing. So by the time I was getting to hospital, my waters had not broken yet, but I was already at 8 centimeters. So I was admitted into hospital and taken to the ward. I stayed there for some hours, for like 2-3 hours. They broke my water manually, which I came to learn as well that first they are supposed to ask you if they should do so, because it does not really help at the end of the day to push the baby out. So after they broke my water, I labored, the baby was not coming out. I was put on pain medication to help with the contractions.
Yeah.
I was given around 3 injections, which also is not allowed. They're not supposed to give more than 1. So by the time I was complaining, actually, I was telling them, just get him out.
Yeah.
I'm in pain. I am tired.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. Do whatever it is that you're going to do. I just want this baby to come out.
Yeah.
Because I was also tired. And apparently the baby was also tired. Another thing that I came to learn now with my second delivery, they're supposed to do an ultrasound when you're admitted into hospital before the delivery, at least to know how the baby is positioned, where the umbilical cord is, and just to make sure that everything is okay. And they did not do that. So we later came to learn that the umbilical cord was tied around the baby's neck. So every time I'm pushing, he's almost coming out, but the umbilical cord tightens around his neck. It pushes him back up. So you push, anafika, he goes back up. So every time he comes, he goes back up, the cord gets a bit more tighter.
Yeah.
So by the time the head doctor came, because the nurses walikuwa wamejaribu wakashindwa. So the head doctor came and he said that, fine, let's go and do an emergency C-section. But then when I go to the theater, he said, let's give it one more time. He tried, they used forceps, they pulled him out. But then by the time he was coming out, he was not breathing. He did not cry. And it's so important for the baby or the first cry.
Yeah.
It's so very important because it allows oxygen to get into the body, into the brain, for everything to function normally. So he had birth asphyxia because he didn't breathe. He didn't cry the first cry, so he didn't get oxygen into the brain, which ended up with him having a brain malfunction. So he has a neurological disorder, cerebral palsy. He has mild cerebral palsy. And his cerebral palsy is spastic, which means that he has stiffness of joints it affects both his legs and his hands.
So the stiffness is in the legs and
Yeah,
the
in
hands.
the legs and in the hands. And also the neck coordination, it took almost 2 years for his neck to gain stability. And the back is also a bit affected. So as at 3 years, right now is when he's starting to learn to sit on his own.
Okay, let me ask. So the hospital that you went to, do you mind telling us which hospital it is?
It's
Okay. So
let me hold that
okay.
for purposes of I did not get clearance from them, but it was a private hospital. It wasn't public. It was a private hospital.
Is it the same hospital that you are going to for your scans?
No. For the scans, I was going to a clinic. So the doctor that I was seeing at the clinic is the one who referred me now to the hospital. Yeah, that I gave birth in.
Okay. So by the time they actually got the baby out, how long had you been laboring for?
I got to the hospital in the morning around 7, and I delivered at 5.
At 5?
Yes.
And at 7 already you were in active labor?
Yeah, I was in active labor by the time I was getting to hospital.
Yeah, okay. And then, so you were admitted in the hospital after giving birth, or?
Yes, we were admitted for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks?
Yeah, the baby was, he was not underweight. Though the weight was not that much, he was 2.8 kgs. We were he was put in an incubator under oxygen. But then they did not tell me that anything was wrong. Because after he was born, he didn't cry. So walikuwa wanamfanyia CPR. They're trying to make him cry, to make him breathe. So I was worried, what's wrong?
Yeah.
So the nurse that was attending to me told them that, take the baby away, she's getting worried. But hakuniambia that there's something wrong with the baby. So after I finished getting my stitches and everything, I had something to eat. So nikaambiwa that the baby has been taken to the nursery he can't breathe on his own. He has a bit of distress, so they're monitoring him to see what is wrong. But then they didn't tell me that kuna anything that lifelong that has affected him because of the birth process.
Okay.
So we stayed in hospital for almost 2 weeks. Then when it came to around the next day now at 2 a.m., he started crying.
Now, the day after you've been discharged?
We were still in hospital. He was still in the nursery. So he stayed there for the whole night. He was just sleeping. He refused to breastfeed. That was another sign that they were supposed to realize that something is wrong, because you'd put him on the breast, he does not latch. Actually, he pushes it away instead of latching. That is the initial, the first thing a baby does after they are born.
Yeah.
When you put them to the breast, they latch and then they feed. But then you'd give him the breast, he would not feed. So instead of them realizing something is wrong, it is the nurse who's asking you, what is wrong with the baby? Why isn't he feeding?
Yeye
anakuuliza kwani ni nini mbaya na mtoto hanyonyi? Ni nini, kwani kuna kitu mbaya na matiti yako? Enda uoshe matiti. Unaosha matiti. Kwani is your breast bitter? So unajiuliza, how can my breast be bitter? Surely I've been here all along. So he refused to breastfeed. He was put on liquids apart from the oxygen.
Let me ask, so when you were breastfeeding him, he was still on oxygen?
He was still on oxygen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to breastfeed. So for him not to become dehydrated, kuna some feed that they give the baby. So akapatiwa pia IV. Okay, kwa on IV, he's still on oxygen. Ikafika the next day at around 2 a.m., he started crying. Yeah. So hiyo ilikuwa another indication that something is wrong, but they did not tell me. So the baby cried for almost a whole day and night, non-stop.
Non-stop, yes. A full day and night.
Yes. The doctor is coming. He is not feeding. Wakampatia with a syringe. Yeah. He was fed with a syringe. Your formula. They just gave him formula after a few hours because he has refused to breastfeed. He would feed. He's still crying. So they're like, what's wrong with the baby? Do you call his grandmother to come and name him? Maybe there's a problem at home. So you're
this
like...
This is the hospital.
This is the hospital. This is the nurse in the nursery telling you these things. So you're like, how is it related to the baby's health and the condition that he's in right now? So you know, as a first time mother, hata unakuwa confused.
Wewe mwenyewe you don't know what to expect.
You don't know what to expect. You're far away from home. You're far away
Yeah.
from people who can be able to help you. And it was in 2020, time ya corona.
Time ya COVID kwanza.
Yeah. So even for them getting there, it's a bit hectic.
Movement was restricted.
So by the time the head doctor was acting, it was a day later.
Now this a day later after, now he's cried a day and night and then now.
Yeah, a day and night.
Okay.
So on the second day now is when the doctor came. Akamwangalia. By then he had developed, was like sort of a rash on his chin. Kumbe ilikuwa because of oxygen deficiency. There is not enough oxygen getting to the brain. That is why he is crying. Akona distress. Because hapumui vizuri. He's not getting enough oxygen.
And
so
that's even when he's on the oxygen.
He's on the oxygen. So kulikuwa na bado there's a problem somewhere. And also the frontal lobe ilikuwa imeanza kuswell, which means that the brain pia ni kama imeswell kidogo. So akapatiwa medication to help him sleep. And also for medication also to help with the brain ndio isiendelee kufura. So your medication ndio alipewa for almost 2 weeks. After around 5 days akakubali akaanza kunyonya.
So all along alikuwa anapewa formula na dawa.
Yeah, formula na dawa, and then also you're pumping. But then you're in hospital, we mwenyewe you have not had time to rest. Your body is still recovering. You're worried about the baby. So maziwa hata ikapotea. So tulikuwa lazima to substitute on a formula for a few days. Yeah.
Okay. But sasa after alianza kunyonya after the 5 days, at least maziwa ilikuja?
Yeah, maziwa ilikuja. Ndio sasa after the 2 weeks tukakuwa discharged.
After 2 weeks?
Kwenda nyumbani, yeah.
Okay. And then at the time they were discharging you, did they tell you anything? Ama they said sasa ako sawa? Were you given any medication to continue with?
No, we were not given any medication to continue with. We were just discharged. Tukaambiwa the baby is okay. He's progressing well. Ameongeza kilo kidogo. So you can go home. You come back after 2 weeks for the clinic. So when we left hospital, as we knew that we were carrying home a very healthy and a baby who is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And kufika home, now before you went back to hospital for the 2-week visit, was there anything you noticed that was
the only thing that we noticed is that he was sleeping a lot. But then tukaambiwa that it's still a side effect of the medications that he was being given in hospital. Tukaambiwa it will wear off after a while. So the only thing is that alikuwa analala sana. But then also, that is, I came to realize later on, especially now that I have a second child, he was not breastfeeding well. The muscles za mdomo zilikuwa weak. So he would suckle kidogo, anachoka, anaacha. So maziwa yenye imeteremka ndio anakunywa peke yake, akishachoka anaachana nayo. So the first few months he was okay, but vile anaendelea kugrow, it wasn't enough for him.
Okay. So mkarudi sasa hospitali for the 2 weeks. You went back to the same hospital?
Yeah, I went back to the same hospital. They checked him, they checked me. They didn't tell me anything. So I went back home. For the 6 weeks injections, I also went back to the same hospital. They wakampatia the vaccines, wakampima kila kitu, hawakuniambia anything.
Wakasema tu ako sawa, your good weight he was gaining.
Yeah, weight he was gaining. By the first month he gained 2 kgs, the second month I think 1.5. The weight for the first few months was very okay. It was very okay. He was feeding. Hata mimi I didn't notice there was anything amiss. Apart from the fact that he would sleep a lot, and then if he gets some instances ako very irritable for like 3-4 hours. But then watu wanakuambia babies are different.
Yeah.
Some sleep, some don't sleep, so it's okay.
Kwanza for a first time mom, I can imagine you're not sure what is
you're not sure
expected
of anything. So ukiona kitu, you're Googling, Google tells you whatever it tells you. You ask friends who already have kids, wanakwambia, my first experience with my firstborn was like this. You ask the grandmothers, wanakwambia, they are like that.
Yeah, babies sleep a lot.
Especially for them, they tell you that, if he's not feeding, mpatie uji. Si tulianza kupea wetu uji na 2 weeks.
Did you try? And then this whole time were you substituting as well? Ama now you just stuck to the breast milk?
No, when I went home, I just stuck to the breast milk. Nikasema, let me try to just do exclusive breastfeeding for as long as I possibly can.
Okay, that's good. So then how long did it take before you realized, something is amiss, that baby is not really okay?
I started being suspicious at around 6 months because I remember I had gone to the salon with him to do my hair. So the women unajua ukifika na mtoto kila mtu anataka kumbeba. It's so cute nini. So one woman alimbeba akauliza, how old is he? Nikamwambia he's almost 6 months. Na hii shingo bado. So uko like, kwani shingo iko na shida gani? But ikapita tu hivyo. So when I went home as well, the grandmothers, they were commenting, kwani bado hajakaa, what is wrong, nini, mgongo naona bado haiko stable, na hii shingo kwa nini anashinda amelegeza hivi, but wakasema, he's been through a lot, maybe he's taking time to catch up. But then you as a mother, you're also like, hapana, there's something wrong here. Because especially the hands, they were always in fists, because ziko stiff. So you try to unwrap them, but nile you have to like literally force them open. And anything ukimweka amelala, mali amelala tu hapo. He's not trying to turn, he's not trying to grab at things, he's not rolling. He's just there. So nikajiambia, maybe it's just a quiet baby.
Yeah, maybe he's a calm child.
He's a calm child, hana maneno. But then kuna that sixth sense inashinda imekwambia there's something wrong here.
So did you go for a second opinion when you
so
noticed?
Where I was going for vaccines for him ndio nikaanza kuuliza the nurses, is there any problem? Because now he's 6 months, he's not sitting, he's not trying to be active, na pia naona kunyonya yake imerudi chini. What might be the problem? So what they tell you is that kids are different, just give it time. Kids are different, just give it time. Nikasema no, it's almost 10 months now, sioni any progress. Na try kumweka chini, ukimweka he sits on his own, anajipeleka na mbele, which means that the body still can't support that weight for him to sit. So I insisted, nikaenda kuona daktari. The doctor, the best he told me is that I go nipime calcium. Maybe his calcium levels are low. So we went, we did the calcium test. It came back that iko sawa. There was also another test for phosphorus. It came back iko sawa. Vitamin D iko sawa. So kaniambia that the most I can do now, I recommend you go to a nutritionist because he's also not adding weight.
Now this is at 10 months, he's not adding weight. So akaniambia go to a nutritionist and also to a occupational therapist. Now this is the clinic that I go to, that nilikuwa nampeleka for vaccines and consultations. Okay, the same one mali uliza?
No, mali niliacha. So after like the 6 weeks, nikaenda sasa to somewhere closer to home.
Okay.
So nikaenda, we started the therapy, but roho bado inaniambia no. And then there's
you started therapy?
Yeah, we started therapy.
Therapy for
because he's not sitting, he's not doing anything. So
okay.
Instead of recommending me to a pediatrician, akaniambia to just go do therapy and consult a nutritionist. So we started the therapy. I didn't go to the nutritionist. Nika decide tu acha tu nifanye hii kienyeji. So nikatafuta tu dieting things to add weight. So nikaongeza a lot of proteins, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables. And then nikaenda kwa the occupational therapist. We were going to a public hospital, which the experience was terrible.
Terrible mbona?
It was a lady, she was who was doing the therapy. But if she arrives before you that day hata kufanyia therapy. So naye atafika amechelewa 8-9 huko. It's a public hospital. But then if she comes before you, kama it's 6 patients ama 7 or 10 who had arrived before her, au ndio atafanyia that day.
So ukifika after ya amefika
ni hivyo.
and you book appointments. So ni like one appointment every 2 weeks. So unaona hata itasaidia mtoto kweli. So like after the 2 weeks you come, ukichelewa, that's it. Anakuandikia another 2 weeks, you come another 2 weeks. After another 2 weeks.
And this is therapy that the baby needs.
Yeah, that the baby needs, that is supposed to be doing to help him. So nikaona this is not helping me. So through Facebook, I met a group of women. Nikajoin a WhatsApp group. It's for caregivers.
Yeah.
We just majorly ni cerebral palsy, but also kuna hydrocephalus, calcium deficiencies and some other things. So through there ndio nikapata a lady, she reached out to me. Akaniuliza tu my journey, nikamwambia what we have been through, chenye tumefanya. Akaniambia no, first and the most important thing, you need to go to a pediatrician. Ndio hata ujue, cause unaweza kuwa you're going to the therapy, but at the end of it all, it won't help him. You might be causing more harm. Because first of all, you need to know what is happening with the baby. So go to a pediatrician. She recommended a pediatrician in Thika Town. She's one of the head pediatricians in Thika Sub-County. And she has a clinic, so we went there. She saw the baby. Even before we even sat down, akaniambia tu mtoto wako akona cerebral palsy. That is at one year. At 11 months now.
11 months.
Yeah. Akaniambia, your child has cerebral palsy. Akaniuliza what happened during the birth. Ndio sana nikamwambia what happened, alikuwa na birth asphyxia. Akaniuliza they didn't tell you anything. Kamwambia no, they didn't tell me anything. Tulipewa to discharge, we went home. So akaniambia that was wrong. They were supposed to tell you at least ndio ufanye follow ups, and they were supposed to do the follow ups with you, with the doctor mwenye alikuwa anamuona huko. Akaniambia that his case is mild, so there is hope that hata kama right now he's stiff and everything, but there is hope that he can be able to sit, walk, talk, and do some things on his own. Akaniambia I can recommend tests for you, but they are expensive. Kitu kama CT scan, MRI. So, and they're also risky for the baby. So what I can do, I'll give you medicines to help with the stiffness, at least, because vile ako stiff hivyo, as you go to therapy, anaweza vunjika. Because the therapy is to help to relax the muscles and everything. And the muscles, they're already stiff. So akaniambia, the more unaenda therapy and you're not using medicines, it can be even of risk to him. And unaweza pata amevunjika, as the therapist anafosisha the limbs to open up. And also alikuwa na have like seizures. Though I didn't notice. And ndio as you explained to her, anakuambia what is wrong with the baby. Because for him, aungefungua mlango kama ako hapo. You open the door, you shut it, anashtuka, anaanza kulia. You shut the window, anashtuka, anaanza kulia. You drop a spoon, anashtuka, anaanza kulia. The neighbor on like the 4th floor, akifungua mlango afunge, hiyo pia anasikia. If he's sleeping, he wakes up shouting and crying. And then sometimes he would sleep, he wakes up at around 1-2 a.m. He won't go back to sleep. He would just cry for like 3-4 hours without keeping quiet. So you're explaining this to her, and anakuambia mtoto wako na shida, and the problem is in the brain. And brain damage you can't reverse. Hakuna kitu unaweza fanya. So far there are no studies ama medicines to help reverse that. So the best that you can do is to manage the condition.
That's difficult news, especially for like a new mom.
Yeah, for a new mom, unaanza kujiuliza, is there something wrong with me? Anakuambia no, there's nothing wrong with you. Hakuna kitu mbaya na wewe, but at the end of the day, as a human, she will tell you that, but bado utabaki uko, I know there has to be something wrong with me.
Una feel maybe I could have done something better.
Maybe I would have made different decisions, maybe in the hospital that I went to. But then akani comfort tu, akaniambia it will be okay. You just have to take heart, because right now it is for you to stand up for him and to do what is right to help him, to cope, and to give him a better chance at life.
So this is news that changes your life completely, even how you view life, everything. And even the mental toll it must take on you must be difficult. So
How did your life change after?
First of all, I think I cried for the whole 1 hour ride from Thika to home, because it was, all along, that your baby is not, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you think it's something that I can change. It will be like for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then he'll be fine. He'll be running around, calling me mama, calling his dad and everything. But then you realize that, okay, it might be a while.
Yeah.
So first of all, I was in denial. Nilikuwa like, these doctors, these modern doctors, they exaggerate things. He's okay. He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But then it is a bitter pill to swallow, especially for a first-time mom. It takes a lot from you. And your life has to change, because the things that you just wake up and decide that I have plans, I'm going. You can't just up and go.
Yeah.
You have to know that by the time he's out for like 3-4 hours, he will become irritable. He will start crying.
Yeah.
He will start jumping at every sound. He will not be able to calm down, especially kama it's a new surrounding.
Yeah.
It will be difficult for him. So my social life nearly regressing. I shut people out.
Yeah.
Because most people don't understand what cerebral palsy is. So you're expecting that they'll understand what's happening to him.
Yeah.
Why aren't they understanding? I'm telling them that the baby has a problem. Daktari amesema hivi. Why are they not understanding my situation and trying to help me? But then you're realizing that them also they don't know. Au pia hawaelewi. So I shut people out. Social life ikaisha hivyo, cause pia utaenda watu they start staring, huyu ni nini shida na mtoto amelia hivi, mama mpe matiti anyonye. He stopped breastfeeding. By the time he was turning 1 year old, alikataa kunyonya kabisa. You give him, he refuses. Hata ujaribu nini ataki.
Na ukipampu mpe pia
Hata hiyo he would drink, but then sasa it's not enough. Cause pia kukula pia hakuwa anakula vizuri. Sometimes you'd give him food, he eats properly, but then anavomit yote. So hiyo pia later on nilikuja kulearn that it's to do with acid reflux. Hiyo pia alikuwa it's part of the condition. Digestion pia it affects the digestion. Akona acid reflux. Na pia kuna chakula zingine ukimpea anakataa kabisa, he doesn't want them. So yeah, your life changes a lot.
And mentally, how did it affect you mentally?
Mentally, I got into depression. But it's the kind that creeps up on you when you don't even realize that you're in it until after a few months back. Ndio sasa nili accept sasa, cause your child, you love them and you want the best for them, but unaona kuna limitations now. So what are you supposed to do about those limitations? You're going for therapy, unajisetia limits. Kwanza nilikuwa nimejisetia limits. Within 3 months he will be sitting down. The 3 months zinapita. You go to the therapist, nakwambia hata shingo mama bado haijasimama. Atakaje na shingo bado haijasimama. First of all, the neck has to stand. Then the trunk. Then support ingine ndo itakuja. So therapist anakwambia, if you start expectations, you're going to be so disappointed. I've seen clients coming here after 2-3 months, they give up. And once you give up, you go back home, unakaa na mtoto umemfungia kwa nyumba. He regress. He goes back to being stiff. The neck kama bado haijakuwa strong, anaanza kulose your muscle tone tena that gain. So the therapist that we have, he's very encouraging. Yani ni mtu, you go there, mtapiga story, akifanyia mtoto therapy and everything, and you'll just feel at home.
He's somebody that you can rely on, and that is what I'm thankful for.
Okay. So what's been your support system? Because going through that is hard.
It is hard. My support system, majorly, it's my family and close friends. At least I have family. My mom and mother-in-law, even if they don't really understand what the condition is, at least ni watu wanaweza kukusaidia in some way. At least you can count on them when you're feeling down. I can call my mom, nimwambia, ai mi leo na feel nimechoka sana and everything, but she can tell you that it's okay, it's going to be okay. Remember mahali umetoka, how the baby was when you were in hospital and everything. You've come through so far, and you still have some few more steps to go, but you're going to make it. So usichoke, just go on. You're the one he has. Kama si wewe, then he won't make it. And also my siblings, I have close friends, and also my husband, he's there. He's supportive. Yeah. At least he's somebody that you can rely on. Unaweza, hata kama ni weekend, anaweza offer once in a while, and remain with the kids. At least you go out, you do some errands, or you just have some me time once in a while. So at least you inasaidia. I have a support system, and I'm thankful for that.
That's really nice. You have a second child. He's 6 months. Okay, the first experience must have been very traumatizing.
Yes.
So did it affect your decision in having a second one?
Partly, yes. Actually, the biggest decision was the pediatrician. Every visit you'd go, she's like, is there a second one coming? And ananiambia, Mama, what are you waiting for? Tunataka a second born. Jikazeni. Me, I want a second child. I want as a playmate for my son. He calls Aiden my son. I want a playmate for my son. What are you waiting for? Haraka haraka. You're laughing, and she's like, I'm serious. I'm going to hit you. Come here with a second child. So partly it was for her, and also I think kidogo it was for nipate at least validation that there's nothing wrong with me. At least nijue that I am able, as a mother, ukwe na something inakutuliza roho, kind of.
Nice. Tell us a bit about Aiden. What does he like?
Aiden is such a fun personality. Actually, ukimpata tu, the first thing he will do is smile at you. Whether he knows you or not, ukitokanga naye kwa barabara, he's smiling and anataka kusalimia kila mtu. And he's very shy. Atakusmailia, but ukimkaribia, angalie chini, he pretends, and then he looks at you again. So he's such a fun personality.
You said he's 3 now?
Yeah, he turned 3.
Oh, okay. You've achieved, what milestones have you been able to achieve?
So far, he can grab objects, he can roll, he's crawling, but then he's crawling on his back. Instead of using force, he's crawling on his back. Also, we're starting to sit, though bado anaka itwa tripod position, enye analin na mbele, but he can sit for like a few seconds on his own. Yeah, feeding is you still have to feed him. He's still fully on diapers. Yeah, but we're progressing slowly.
Nice. That's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm sure there's moms also who've learned something from this, maybe who've seen some signs that maybe they share in common, they've learned something from it. So asante sana.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for watching as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye.